The Satanist woman that I've been talking about, her name was Julia. I learned a lot about Satanism from her. I don't feel it's anywhere near as ubiquitous as people think it is, but some people, certain subcultures. But I asked her if she thought she was gifted because she had these kind of psychic abilities. She could even see people at a distance. That's something parapsychologists called remote viewing. She knew all about people's lives. She knew how my mother had died, for instance, many, many years earlier. And I said to her, "So you think you're gifted?" And she had what I think was a good response, a very orthodox response in some ways. She said, "No," she said, "Dr. Gallagher," and she was very respectful to me, and she always told me she'd tell me the truth. She said, "Dr. Gallagher, no one is gifted." She goes, "We get these gifts from someone else." She goes, "In my case, I get them from Satan. There are certain spiritually gifted people who may have spiritual gifts from God, but they don't get it from their innate ability." The head of the International Association of Exorcists is a very written a lot of books too. Uh, he always says these parapsychological people are all fooled because they don't know the powers that they're really dealing with.
Mm. And so it's interesting that this lady Julia was very aware and almost seemed like she was working with this this being that was possessing her, or she's very aware of its presence within her. Just interesting to think that she, was. It wasn't like she was going into a trance per se. It seems like she was very, almost comfortable with this being that was inside her.
Well, basically, Josh, she wanted to have her cake and eat it too. In other words, the cult had become like a family for her. She was kind of in love with the male leader of the cult. She was regarded as the queen of the cult. And in addition, she definitely had psychic powers. There's no doubt in my mind. So, when I talk about some of these skeptical crowds who say there's no such thing as these psychic abilities, I know for a fact that's absolutely wrong. But on the one hand, she was not only reluctant to leave the cult for personal reasons, but she was afraid of the cult because she was afraid if she definitively left the cult, they were going to harm her. So it was a deep conflict because at the same time she knew she was possessed, and she didn't want to be possessed. But she had, in many ways, she had brought it on herself. So the priest that I work with, including Father Jacques and this other priest that she literally claimed she could see at a distance, and she demonstrated that to me once. I said to her, "Okay, Julia, tell me what he's doing right now." And she described him to a T, and he was doing something unusual. He was walking along a beach. He was saying his breviary. She knew exactly how he was dressed and what he was doing, even though this was unusual locale for him to be in. I called him up, and he caught my drift very quickly. He said, "You're talking to Julia, right? She's something else."
Yeah, it's not like he was just wearing regular, what's he wearing? Oh, he's wearing his priest.
Well, he was wearing, he was an ex-Marine. He was a big, tough guy. And he was wearing khakis and a windbreaker, and she knew all about it, even though there was no way, the guy was like over 100 miles away. There's no way she could have guessed that. So she didn't want to give up those gifts, which she recognized were from Satan. She one time said to me, "This God you believe in, I don't understand, but Satan I understand. He gives me favors." So again, it was a very, very foolish bargain, but that was our choice. The anecdote I often tell is how when I first got involved with the case of Julia, my wife and I were in our bedroom and our cats went berserk, and they started scratching and clawing at each other. We didn't know what went wrong. We thought maybe they had catnip or ate bad food or something. We had to separate them. The very next morning, actually to my annoyance, this priest, Father Jacques, brought this Satanist woman to my house. I told him later, please don't bring Satanists to my neighborhood. And
Right.
and the first word out of her mouth, I'd never met her before. She knew nothing about me, at least on a natural level. And the first thing she said is, "Oh, hi, Dr. Gallagher. Nice to meet you." And she was respectful to me, but she was kind of a nasty person. And she said to a lot of people, and she said, "Oh, by the way, how did you like those cats last night?" So she somehow knew that these cats had gone berserk.
Wow.
I later told her, you better not do something like that again, or else, I'm not going to, I didn't charge her. And she was not a patient of mine. These people I talk about, Josh, are not patients of mine.